Hello, church. It's Drew here with our daily devotion for Monday, December the 14th, 2020. Our text is from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 17. The whole armor of God. Let me read the text. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power. Put on the whole armor of God so that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For our struggle is not against enemies of blood and flesh, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, so that you may be able to withstand on that evil day. And having done everything, stand firm. Stand, therefore, and fasten the belt of truth around your waist. Put on the breastplate of righteousness. As shoes for your feet, put on whatever will make you ready to proclaim the gospel of peace. With all of these, take the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times, in every prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert, and always persevere in supplication for all the saints. Pray also for me, so that when I speak, a message may be given to me to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it boldly, as I must speak. I love this text from Ephesians, the whole armor of God. What a metaphor for the spiritual life. I remember these twin boys at the Crossville church, Lawson and Landry. They came in one Sunday morning literally wearing the whole armor of God. They had these little costumes their grandmother had put together so they could learn this verse from Ephesians 6. It was such a creative idea, and they could recite the verse better than I ever could. It was a creative idea until after church. They had a full-on, old-school battle with the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Almost knocked an 80-year-old woman over. If she hadn't been a school teacher, I don't think she'd have survived. The militaristic language of this passage is both helpful and problematic. The life of faith is a challenge at times, much like a battle with evil and with sin in our own lives. We appreciate a sword and a shield and a belt of truth and a breastplate of righteousness as we labor from day to day trying to be faithful disciples. We know and have seen the fiery arrows of the evil one. Sometimes they have names and faces, and we must guard against them. Yet, somehow also, this whole battle imagery is a little problematic for a faith that is ultimately rooted in what is called the ministry of reconciliation. We are called to be reconciled to God and to one another, not to fight these massive battles in the narthex or the workplace or wherever. Verse 15, for me, is so full of irony and hope. The spiritual life can be very much like a battle, and we can and should put on the whole armor of God. I do it every day. I have a little card that reminds me. We should do that as long as we remember verse 15. As shoes for your feet, put on whatever will make you ready to proclaim the gospel of peace, not the gospel of war. What is that gospel of peace? That Jesus came, the only Son of God, lived to show us what God's love really looks like when put to work in the world. He died at the hands of those religious folks who didn't like what they saw. God raised him from the dead, proof of who he was and what he's doing, still bringing that gospel of peace that is at the heart of God's new creation. Peace is from a Greek word pointing to a Hebrew word that we all know, shalom. Shalom means much more than just freedom from conflict. It is peace with God, peace with each other, and a peace that seeks the well-being of all people. Truth be told, not everybody likes that, and it doesn't exactly come naturally. That is why you have to decide to be part of it, and that's why we still need to wear our armor, even while we proclaim the good news of Jesus, the gospel of peace. What can you do today, wherever you are, to proclaim that good news of peace. Let's decide to do that. I love you folks very much, and I hope you have a fantastic Monday, this third week of Advent. Christmas is getting close. We'll talk to you soon.